I saw a lot of stuff in the news recently about a fungus that is causing a lot of people a lot of trouble. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. I know it's Candida.
That's pretty good. I think that's right.
But there's like a second word to it.
Auris.
Auris. Okay.
Candida.
Candida. There we go. That's the one.
Depends on what country you're from, like what accent you have.
Yeah. So
I like your new studio, by the way.
oh yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a little more cozy than
It
the other
does feel
one.
cozy.
And so we can like have longer conversations in here.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully not too long. So what is it exactly? So it's a fungus.
It is a fungus. It is not like the Last of Us fungus.
Okay, that's good.
It's pretty. It's not necessarily more virulent. Why am I having a hard time?
I would just say
virulent.
Virulent? Okay.
Virulent.
I would just say viral. It's not that viral.
That's true. They should just say that.
Yeah. They're scientists. They like to make it more complicated.
That's true. That's a better way to say it. It's not that viral. Well, so Candida Auris, that it is a fungus. It's causing trouble because there's a lot of antiviral medications that don't do anything to it. So people that get infected with it have a hard time kicking it, and primarily it's as usual, as you'd expect. It's people who have other things wrong with them, weakened immune systems, causes problems in the blood, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So it's not awesome for a certain group of people. The reason why it's like buzzy and in the news is because anytime when like something spreads like really, really well and also isn't able to be easily treated, then it's just scare people.
Yeah. So like what are some of the symptoms of it if you get it?
Ooh, that's a good question. It's actually it's actually hard to diagnose. You like based on symptoms, it seems like it could be any other host of bacterial infections that would be similar. So it doesn't present itself in a super unique way. You have to kind of do tests for it. That's part of the problem, though, is it's difficult to diagnose just based on symptoms. But also, the main problem with it is that it lives on your skin, basically, and it colonizes your skin. It like lives and grows on warmer and saltier environments, and so you could be a carrier for it and not know it. So that's part of the problem that hospitals are having, is that you've got a lot of people going from room to room, going in and out of the hospital, and they don't have symptoms, like they're not sick, but it can live for a long time on surfaces, like a month, and it can colonize on your skin, so like grow on your skin, but also not make you sick. So you could have it on your skin right now. You probably don't.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't.
Hope not.
But the reason why it's problematic is because you've got a bunch of people that aren't sick and won't get sick from it. It's on their skin, and as they walk through different environments, like in a hospital, they're sloughing off, into places where other people are touching, and if it finds its way to someone who's like immune compromised or into a cut or a wound or something like that, then it causes problems for that person.
So, because like with viruses, with like the flu virus, for example, like if you get that, you're more likely to show symptoms of that, or like what are the odds of someone being asymptomatic to like the flu as compared to this fungus?
So like if you get infected with a virus, for example, so like a virus needs like a certain amount of moisture to be like transmit from you to me, for example. But once it gets inside of you, like you have the viral infection, and it's different. You can be asymptomatic where like you have the virus, or maybe you're a carrier, but you don't produce symptoms. The difference here is that you can have Candida Auris on your skin and not ever get sick from it, but it's still colonized your skin. It's still like alive there, and it can stay alive there and on surfaces for a long, long time, as opposed to a virus which like dies fairly quickly in comparison, like on surfaces and stuff. So that's the main thing, is Candida like survives for a terribly long time on surfaces, and it's hard to kill on surfaces. Like there's different types of chemical cleaners that are used, but in hospitals they use quaternary amine and alcohol sometimes. But some of the stuff that hospitals use, chemical cleaners that are typically very effective at cleaning surfaces, are not as effective against Candida.
And so why is this thing so stubborn? Why is it fighting all of these chemicals and
yeah, those mutants, man.
Yeah.
Anti-mutant league.
So like they're immune to medicines as well.
Yeah, so like antifungal treatments, that's the main reason why. If it responded well to the antifungals that we have, like they were effective against it, then people probably wouldn't talk about it, because it's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like how it's spreading, and people wouldn't be doing that research because it's like we can kill it easy, you know. But since we can't kill it that easily, and like one out of 3 people who gets infected with it dies, which is a lot. Now the people who get infected with it are people that are like pretty ill already with other things.
Yeah.
So it's not something that maybe you or I need to necessarily worry about, right?
Yeah.
Healthy individuals don't need to worry about it. But the reason why it's being talked about is because, yeah, you can't, once you get infected with it, like it's going to be rough for you because of that, right? And one of the reasons why it's like stubborn is because compared to other similar, types of fungus, it's like, it's a higher heat, it's more salty environment, so it like spreads on your skin. I mean, it's your skin's a good spot for it. It likes your skin.
So like, is there a way to tell that it's on your skin, or is it just going to be invisible? You gotta be tested for it. You gotta grow. So it's not something that'll eventually like build up and be like on your skin and be visible. Like
no, because it sloughs off. Like it, yeah. So. I mean, maybe if you like never showered or rubbed up against
start growing some mushrooms on there.
Yeah, if you just if you were a true couch potato, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe then it would be like you'd end up looking like one of those.
But that'd probably be a very long time.
Yeah, you'd probably be dead first for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And so, like, what are some of the solutions that they've discovered about it?
Yeah. So, we the main thing that hospitals are doing is they're trying to just make sure that their surface disinfection practices and hand washing protocols are all being followed, and et cetera, right? It's a surface spreader as opposed to like something that spreads in the air.
Yeah. So
because chemical cleaners aren't as effective against this as some other things that they use it for, there's a lot of UV being used, obviously. We tested it against the Express Pro, our industrial version of phone soap, right?
How did the results come back on that?
Great. So UVs works well against it, 99.99% effective. So obviously, like if you're a hospital, then phones are a surface, and they get touched by skin that is holding on to to this fungus. And so, when you're talking about any kind of bacteria or fungus or virus that's spreading on a surface, then one of the vectors that's kind of the most interesting in our modern day and age is phones, right?
Yeah.
So the Express Pro is really good at killing Candida Auris on your phone. So, hospitals they've got protocols for hand washing. Like every time someone goes in and out of a room, they should wash their hand. So it makes sense that if they have a, personal electronic device that they are disinfecting at the same time that they're washing their hands. Otherwise, it's kind of not as effective, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And the Express Pro's like, it's a 15-second disinfection time. So that's how long that they're supposed to be washing their hands anyways. So it's kind of a perfect pair.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of, when I've gone to the hospital, like you do a check-in like on a tablet even. Yeah. And so people are coming to the hospital because they're either sick or visiting people that are sick. So they're probably bringing stuff with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Time. Yeah, no, for sure. Like normal sicknesses and viruses, like cold viruses and stuff, like people are going to get over those. They're easily treated, at least for now, right? Everyone make sure that if you get prescribed antibiotics that you take the whole course of the prescription and make sure we don't keep mutants out of our society, right? I'm starting to sound like a comic book villain.
Yeah, no more mutants is what Scarlet Witch would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's interesting. But like you said, it's not necessarily a threat or a worry for someone who's healthy, well.
Yeah, like anyone that's like listening to anyone who's listening to this is probably okay. If you're an infection preventionist or you work at a hospital, it's probably a little bit more concerning. Maybe not necessarily for you, but for patients that are at the hospital. And obviously that's part of their job is to make sure that illnesses from one person don't spread to another person within the hospital, right?
Yeah.
And so, but in general, like I said, people are just worried about it specifically because of the fact that it can live so long on surfaces and specifically on people without them having any symptoms, without them even being affected. And so they'll come into an environment. It could even be a nurse. They could have it on their skin, come into an environment and sloughs off onto a surface that a patient comes in contact with who's immune compromised for some reason, and cut, and strange series of events leads to them getting infected and having a problem. So
yeah. Okay, well,
not Last of Us level yet.
Yes, that is a good thing because we don't want to get there.
No.
Not that we'll ever really get there. Who knows if we will?
Probably in 2050.
Oh, that's true. We got some time though. But yeah, thanks for sharing your information about this Candida Auris.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
And I'm sure it'll change its name soon. It'll mutate to something better. Maybe something a little easier to pronounce.
Yeah.
But yeah, glad to hear that there are steps to try to prevent it, and just as long as everybody's staying healthy and keeping their hygiene levels up, nothing to worry about here.
Nothing to worry about per se for us, but if you are an infection preventionist, shameless plug for the Express Pro. It works really well. We've tested it in the lab and specifically against Candida. So
you can disinfect phones, tablets,
shared use personal devices is what our products have been designed for. So the Express Pro's really good for that. So
awesome.
It takes as long to disinfect your phone as it does to wash your hands thoroughly. So 15, 20 seconds, washing your hands, disinfecting your shared use personal device, whether it's your phone or some other type of communicator. It's the perfect pair and a really good solution specifically for Candida and helping, slow the spread of that.
Awesome. Yeah, because the Express Pro has the sensor on it, so you can just wave, put your phone in there.
Yep.
And then while it's disinfecting, you can be washing your hands and
Yes, it's a no touch, no contact device, so you can actually put your phone inside of it without ever actually touching the device. So the device itself doesn't become a vector for transmission. It's all done by waving your hand. The robot recognizes you and opens, and you place your phone inside, and it's all done without ever touching the device itself.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing this information with us today. I'm sure a lot of people have found it useful. And as long as we're staying hygienic, keep in mind of our health and wellness, then nothing really to worry about.
Nothing really to worry about.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.